Hello and welcome to the Yes You Coaching Podcast. I'm your host, Anna Manning, and I've just realised that my laptop isn't plugged in. So that's not a great start, is it? Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're in. Good. You can tell that this is a very professional podcast. I get to decide what professional means, and I decide not having my laptop plugged in when I start. We didn't have a podcast last week. I was kind of overrun by things and I wasn't in London, and yeah, we didn't have a podcast, but we do this week. And this week we're talking about the confidence struggle. And people, you know it, you're listening to this podcast. The struggle is real. The struggle is hard and sometimes it feels horrible. So when we're trying to do things and we don't have the confidence that we want, we don't feel as confident as we would like, those things are harder to do. You don't have trouble doing things that you feel completely confident doing, do you? They're easier. Maybe they're more pleasurable, or are they actually? That's a good question, but they're certainly easier. We probably don't fret about them as much before. We probably don't ruminate about them as much afterwards. When we feel all the confidence we want to feel, we're just flowing, we're vibing, things feel easier. But when we talk about not having or not feeling the confidence that we want to feel, and we're struggling with various internal things, there's other stuff going on when we don't have the confidence that we want to feel. And that other stuff might be self-criticism or self-doubt, or, what it's like to be you when you're trying to live up to impossible standards that you set for yourself and you can't do it and you're failing or it isn't working. And whether that's, not being able to recognize anything that good that you did do or anything good that did happen because you're just so focused on the flaws and the negatives and everything that went wrong. Yeah. We've all been there. You might be there right now and it feels terrible. I've been there and I still am there some of the time. And the people that come to me to work with me to feel more confident, they're there too. And you might be there right now. And I know that you can feel more confident, and my clients know that too. And we're thinking most of the time when we're not feeling too confident that it's bad and that it isn't the way we want things to be and that something has gone wrong. If I'm finding it hard or I'm struggling or I'm shitting myself or I'm freaking out, or I'm just nervous, we think that means I'm not cut out for it. We think it means I'm just not good enough. We think it means I'm just not a natural at this. We think it means I don't know what I'm doing. We think it means so many different things. But what if all it means to not feel the confidence that you want to feel is that you're actually engaged in life? You are engaged with life. You're not just sitting in the sidelines refusing to give something a go. You're not just staying in a place where you know exactly what you're doing and you feel completely safe and completely comfortable. The reason you don't feel as confident as you want to is because you've gone out there and you've said yes and you're like, I will try this, I will do this, I will push, I will take this one for the team. I will get a promotion, I will be the first person in my family to do this, or I will be the first member of my community to do that. That's when we don't feel as confident as we want to, when we don't know whether everything's going to turn out perfect and we don't know whether everything's going to go right. And we want to feel more confident in that moment, and we make it mean so many things when we don't. But here's what it actually means. You're engaged with life. You're taking the bull by the horns and you're like, here I am, life. And I'm doing it. And I don't know if I can do it. And I don't know if it's going to turn out right. And I don't know if it's going to be perfect. But here I fucking am. And I'm doing it. You are engaged with life. Whenever you're not feeling as confident as you want to feel, I want you to pat yourself on the fucking back, because you know what it means? You're trying. You're not copping out. You are engaged. If you're experiencing that internal struggle, that means there's something to struggle up against. You're engaged with life. And when I'm talking to people, I'm usually talking about work, right? I'm talking about our confidence at work. So you might be engaged in struggle in relation to your work. It's not because you're not trying, it's because you are trying. It's not because you're choosing the easy route, it's probably because you're choosing the hard one. It's not because you're sitting on the sidelines and being like, oh, well. It's because you're putting yourself out there and you're going for it. And guess what that means? You're a legend. Even though it's not easy, you're doing it anyway. Guess what? I know you want to feel more confident. We all do. Because that would make it easy. That would make everything feel more easy. But what if that isn't the point? You're engaged in the struggle, and it feels hard because you haven't got all the confidence that you want. But you're choosing to engage. You're choosing to do the thing you haven't done. You're choosing to push yourself. You're choosing to try something, to stick your hand up, to give it a go. You're choosing that. Which part of you is choosing that? This part of us that's very uniquely human and that, sends people to the moon and to the depths of the ocean and does things that I've considered to be frankly mental, like running across a desert or whatever. Well, guess what? You doing the thing that you don't know how to do, or that you're afraid of, or that you don't feel the confidence doing, that's what you're doing. At work. Every time you don't feel as confident as you want, it's evidence that you're engaged in that kind of struggle. You're the one choosing to do that project. You're the one choosing to put your hand up to change and grow or evolve. It's no wonder you're going to struggle. I'm guessing you're not the person that's been sitting in the same job for 20 years and knows what they're doing standing on their head. I'm guessing you're probably not that person. I'm guessing you're not the person that's never planning on changing anything. How much confidence does that person need? Probably not a lot, and that's fine. I'm not throwing any shade on that. But you don't need to feel a lot of confidence. You don't come up against a struggle of confidence when you're just doing stuff that you know how to do. I bet you don't feel like you need a lot of confidence to send an email because you know how to do that. There is parts of your job right now that you don't need you don't really feel like you need to feel confident at all. You just feel very neutral and you perform those things perfectly. You don't need confidence for those things. Those things are fine. The only time when you need to feel more confident is when you're going up against it. At that time or in that moment, you are actively engaged in your life in a way which is putting you outside of your comfort zone. And it is bringing up that struggle. And it brings up all of that internal stuff. And when I talked earlier about this thing about uniquely human, which is we always change and strive and grow, it is also, I think, uniquely human to experience this internal stuff, which makes that really, really hard. We don't just feel totally confident doing new things. We have a brain that's wired to keep us safe and to keep us secure and we have all this stuff, all these behaviors, all these habits, all these ways of being, and all these ways of thinking, which can make doing that stuff harder. So what if when you don't feel confident, it's actually a good thing? What if it's just evidence that you've chosen to go out and do something that requires something of you that maybe you don't quite possess yet? Maybe it's going to be like the gym where you grow the muscles you need. A lack of confidence doing something indicates that there is room to grow, that there's things to learn and things to try and perfect. What if you need to be in that gym for some reason? You're there. You're there if you're not feeling completely confident in your job or your work world right now. You're there. You are in that gym. Maybe there's a reason you're in that gym. Maybe this is some confidence muscle that you need to grow in relation to this thing you're doing. Maybe you need to do it for you. Maybe you need to do it for your family. Maybe you need to do it for your community. Maybe you need to do it for your workplace. Or maybe you just need to do it because you're human. And humans gotta love a struggle. Gotta love to grow. Maybe you're in that spot right now where you've been somewhere for years and you know exactly what you're doing and you're like, I've got this all under my belt. I actually probably don't need a lot of confidence, but maybe that person isn't quite listening to this podcast. Or maybe you're in the place where you're coming to cross that precipice again, to like go back into the struggle and to challenge yourself and to do something different. Or maybe you're actively engaged in that struggle right now. Maybe that's why you're listening to this podcast. Maybe there's loads of areas in your work right now, or even one where you just do not feel as confident as you want to yet. Just know all it means is that you are actively engaged in your life. You are being wonderfully, perfectly human. And what does that mean? Well, if you're anything like me, you're going to continue to put yourself in situations where you think, why the hell am I here again? I've done it again. I always think that. Oh my God, why am I here again? Why do I do this to myself? But I just keep doing it. I just keep putting myself in situations where I don't feel confident. I've done it all my life. And do you know what? I'm guessing I'm going to keep doing it. And my life does get richer as a result. Funny, really, that I've ended up being the one that coaches and teaches other people around this stuff. I used to wonder, why do I always do this to myself? Why am I always putting myself in these situations where I'm scared shitless, I'm saying yes for things and I have no idea what I'm doing? But then look where it's brought me. Here today, in March 2023, actually being able to share some of the stuff that I've gleaned along the way about how to do that and how to care for myself as I do that and how to explore life from that viewpoint. Maybe that's why I always did it. Maybe that's why I always do it. Who knows? Maybe this struggle will bring something for you on the other side. Maybe when you do feel more confident in this role or this job or this thing that you're trying to do, maybe it will bring something for your team or your workplace. Who knows? But we're all human. And some of us humans are really engaged with this game that we call life. Struggling in all our ways and not feeling confident about the things that we do as we do it. And maybe all that is evidence of is that we're doing a good job of being human. We're doing a good job of growing and trying, pushing a bit at the boundaries. We're doing a good job of saying, well, I'm not completely comfortable, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. That's all a lack of confidence means. That you're being a really good human. You're trying. You're putting yourself out there. Hats off to you, my friend. Whenever you don't feel confident, I want you to come back and listen to this episode and remember who you are. Uniquely human. Giving it a go. Not feeling as confident as you want. All right. That's all I have for you this week. Last thing. We still have spaces in the Confident at Work program, which is starting April 2023. This is for people who are uniquely human and who are always putting themselves in those situations where they don't know what they're doing or they feel a lack of confidence or whatever. Come into community with us, and we're going to spend 3 months building the foundational things that you need to support yourself while you go about life in this way. Because it's a hard way to go about life. But there's things that make it a lot more comfortable and make it a lot easier, and I have to say, make it a lot more enjoyable. And that's what I'm going to be teaching and coaching you on for 3 months in the Confident at Work program. All welcome. There is a group option and an individual option. So it's price-wise, you can probably afford it either way, or one way or the other. Might be the best money you spend this year. Possibly will be. I'll leave a link in the show notes. For anyone who's already in the Confident at Work program, I'm really excited to get started. And yeah. Okay, everyone, enjoy your week. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye.